Hello! Now in today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and we're going to be replacing this pendant light fitting with a nice spotlight unit that I've got from IKEA. Now I've had a little look at the spotlight unit already, and it is a class 2 fitting and therefore it doesn't require an earth. Now there is an earth in here because this is a new wiring installation, so it needs to have an earth. So yeah, we need to figure out what we're going to do with that and sort of go through the process of replacing it. So yeah, this is a vlog from a slightly different angle today, and hopefully by the end of it we'll have a very nice looking light fitting and it will be installed relatively smoothly, but you know, these things rarely are. I've changed lots of light fittings in my time and I've always found them a little bit of a struggle. Now in this house I've been really lucky where we've changed light fittings, because it's all relatively new wiring. There is one sort of set of wires coming into each light fitting, so that means you don't have to cram loads in the hole. That's what she said. And it's relatively easy. Now I've had a look, as I said, I've had a look at this light fitting and there is a very small hole for me to poke the cables in, so it should work out okay. I'm a bit scared about drilling into these nicely freshly plastered ceilings, but I'm sure it'll be okay. And I need to work out a way of making sure it's straight as well. So a few things to consider. So anyway, let's get on with it. Okay, so here is our light fitting. It is a Hektar, and yeah, it's got 3 spotlights that will take GU10 lamps. More on that in a little bit. Now what we've got here is the bracket, and that is held on by 4 screws dotted around there. And basically the cable has to come through this hole here. So we need to make sure that the cables enter on this side of the bracket. Now it's a class 2 fitting, I think, because the cables go into this plastic enclosure, and also the cables are meant to go through this plastic hole there. So it sort of makes it all in one unit as far as I can tell. So before you worry, I have turned off the power, so this is now dead. I've already tested that it's dead. It is definitely dead. Please don't worry. So yeah, let's have a little look at what we've got. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. We've got an earth, we've got our line, and we've got our neutral. And we've got a rather badly filled hole there, but this will hopefully cover up all of their sins. So yeah, it's looking relatively straightforward, I think. Now it looks like it's been painted over, so might have to do a little bit of touch-up paint. We will see. So basically, the general rule is the light fitting is going to go like that, and I've got to work out a way of ensuring that it is as straight as a die, because I'm going to be looking at it a lot and I want it to be perfect. So yeah, I might need to crack out the Sigmund laser level and put a laser across. Yeah, I think that's the first job. Let's mark some points on the ceiling, get the laser up, and then that will make everything nice and clear. You know what, I'm probably going to take this down first before we do the laser, then just so we've got like a nice clear view of everything. So let's take it down. Okay, so I'm going to unscrew Mr. Brown first. And what I always like to do is, just so they're not flapping around with bare terminals on, I just like to slip them in a little Wago, just so I know, you know, they're not going to touch the ground or anything like that. Neutral out. So those are nicely isolated there. Let's undo the CPC. Might just get a Wago for that, just for fits and giggles. I think they must have just directly drilled into the plasterboard. Don't think there's any raw plugs. Okay. I see. There we go. It's not hideous, and most of the light fitting will cover that, so it's not the end of the world. So there we go, that is our old pendant gone, and some safely terminated connections for now. And now I've got to try and make this nice and straight with a laser beam. Let's do that. Right, this bit is a little bit more precise, so I've got my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. But I do have a nice laser shining across the ceiling, guiding me where this should be going, hopefully. Give it a little fire with the marksman. Lovely. It's not sitting flush because of the bad filler job around the hole. Right, I've actually put like a dink in the ceiling where that second one's going to go. So we've got our points there and there. So that's looking all right. Pretty pleased with that. How that will line up, yep. Yep, all in line with the laser beam. Hole roughly where it should be. I think I've done all right there, hopefully. I really want to put some proper rule plugs in. I don't know, it just doesn't feel right just screwing into the ceiling. So I'm gonna do that, I think. So let me get my drill. So I'm standing here like a Wally with my eye protection on, and I've actually just already drilled the holes. It's no camera trickery or lying. I just forgot to turn the camera on. So that's annoying, but hopefully, nice. I've drilled the holes deep enough for these little fellas. Nice! So I like to keep all my rule plugs and odds and sods in these little cases that come with the Velocity Pro gear. I'll stick a link to my video up in the corner about that because these are just brilliant, and they make little DIY jobs like this really easy. You don't need to get like a whole box out. You can just pick up these tiny individual boxes. It's very smart. Now, something I have noticed is there's not very much length in these cables. They don't really want to seem to come down much more than that, which is very annoying. I was hoping I'd have a bit more length to play with, but you know, story of my life. But I don't think I've got too much in the way of patching up to do because this bit's a bit mucky here, but I think the light fitting will cover most of that, so that's handy. Right, it's nearly in position. So now with one hand, I've got to take the lid off the little enclosure, put it up through there, and then pick up the light and screw everything in. It just doesn't seem to make any sense. I just don't have enough hands to do it. That's an interesting quandary. Because obviously I don't want the light fitting to fall down. Maybe I could fashion something that could hold on to the light fitting. Yeah, okay, let's have a go at that. Okay, so I've had a semi brainwave, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this bit of cable that came out of the pendant and sort of tie it through here. And then like knot it and then tie this other end through the light fitting. So although it's dangling on something relatively strong, yeah, I think that might work because otherwise I'm just not going to have enough hands to be connecting things and screwing, and I find this bit very fiddly, but I think this is actually my greatest invention ever. Actually, to be fair, it's probably my only invention ever, but shh, we won't mention that. Just so you can see what a ball ache this is, we've got to remove these two screws, thread the wires through here, put the wires into the terminal blocks, and then screw this back on and then put it on the ceiling. It's a madness ting. That's what it is. But if I do this, we've got a slight fighting chance. Got these tiny screws to take care of too. They don't make it easy for you, do they? They really do not. So I've got to get the wires in there like that. Bloody hell. Right, okay, this isn't fun. Oh, so this hole, this guy there, that's got to go sort of up into the ceiling hole, apparently. This is such a shit design, it really is. I don't think I've got enough length here. This is mad. All because they didn't want to ground it. That is the reason behind this. If there was an earth terminal, you wouldn't need this ridiculous box that sort of goes like that. I mean, how? I just don't know how I'm going to do it. I really don't. It's not like that terminal. Does that terminal lift off? Get it? Ah, okay. It's still dreadful. It really is. Right, okay. I can't honestly see how I'm going to be able to screw this back on. I don't think I can. It is such a badly designed light. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Look who just pulled on the cable a little bit more. What a knobhead. Right, okay. Well, I might just be able to do this then. Do I need a bigger screwdriver? Okay, all right, okay. I can pull a bit of cable out. I was just being a bit too gentle. I'm sweating like an absolute pig up here. It's such a warm day. Probably a bad day to do this, but I've had this light sitting around for ages, it feels like now. Why can't they put Wagos in these things? Tug test, good. Hang on, let's take these off now. I was slightly concerned that I'd done loads of this and not actually hit the record button, but unlucky for you, I have. But I think my idea of using this to hold it up is a brilliant one. Just gives me that little extra bit of play. Right, so now, got to find a home for the earth wire. Got to put this back in. This is very manly of me. Oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, I've always had a lot of respect for electricians, but doing this nonsense every day, no, absolutely not. Oh. Oh. Right, one of the screws has pinged out. Feeling so proud of myself too. Right, let me go and find the screw. Annoying. This is Kip from the editing desk here. Now, it seemed I didn't record a bit of footage, but basically in the bit of footage that you can't see, I dropped the screws lots of times. I swore even more, and eventually I managed to get the little box lid on and get the light fitting up onto the ceiling, and we'll go back to me screwing it in. Not like that. I'm doing this one blindly with my fingers. Nice. I mean, it feels really sturdy, so that is, you know, a good thing. I'm pleased with that. Excellent, so just one more screw to do. Oh, excellent. So there we go, all done. It's very, very solidly on the ceiling, and it does have a grommet there for side entry if you're not into rear entry. So I'm going to put some lamps in it now. They're not going to be the final lamps because I'm going to put some special lamps in it in another video. So if you want to see what those lamps are, then you'll have to subscribe to the channel and wait and see what they are. But if you know this channel well enough, you'll probably know what they are. So yeah, let's get some lamps in and test it. And fingers crossed it works. It should do. Who knows though. Right, lampy pamp in. Let's just put another one in here for now. Right, now is the moment of truth. Let's go downstairs and turn the power back on. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Yes! Let there be light. And there is. Oh, I'm so pleased about that. Okay, so it was an absolute nightmare to fit. So fiddly, and it could have been made a lot easier by having it being a class 1 fitting and having an earth connection rather than having that stupid bloody box. But it is up. So that's it for now. So if you want to see what kind of fancy lamps are going in this, then do subscribe to the channel and it will probably be in an upcoming video. It might even be the next video. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But for now, it's game over.